September 1st, 2025, 7 p.m., transfer deadline day closes. Alexander Isak, £125 million, a British record shattered. But here's what should terrify the Premier League. Liverpool didn't even need him. 3 wins from 3 games, 9 points from 9. Top of the table without their record signing. This is a team that broke the transfer record twice in one summer. This is a team where 16-year-old Rio Nungumoha comes off the bench to score a 100th minute winner, where Mohamed Salah at 33 is still adding value to the club, where Hugo Ekitike has already begun adding goals to the team. £446 million spent, 0 defeats, infinite possibilities. This is exactly why every team in Europe should be terrified of what Arn Slot has built at Anfield. Summer 2025, the numbers alone should terrify the competition. £446 million. In one transfer window, Liverpool didn't just break their own spending record, they obliterated it twice in the same summer, then kept going. First came Florian Wirtz from Bayer Leverkusen, £116 million for the German magician who can thread passes through the eye of a needle, a new club record that lasted exactly 2 months. Because on September 1st, deadline day, Alexander Isak walked through the doors at Anfield for £125 million. British transfer record, Premier League history, the kind of money that makes even Manchester City executives pause their calculators. But here's the thing, Liverpool didn't just spend, they spent smart. Hugo Ekitike from Eintracht Frankfurt, Milos Kerkez from Bournemouth, Jeremy Frimpong adding pace and precision. 6 new faces, each one addressing a specific need, each one hungry to prove themselves at the highest level. To fund this revolution, they were ruthless. Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich for £82 million. Darwin Nunez to Al Hilal for £62 million. Even Trent Alexander-Arnold's departure to Real Madrid brought in funds. They sold smart, they bought smarter. This was FSG and the Liverpool hierarchy looking at their Premier League title and saying, this is just the beginning. When Manchester City spent big after winning titles, people called it dominance. When Liverpool do it after their championship, it's not just dominance, it's a declaration of war on the entire league. The revolution was complete. Now came the scary part, watching it work. Mohamed Salah at 33 may not dominate games the way he once did, but he remains one of Liverpool's most valuable pieces. His movement, drifting wide, linking play, creating space, showed how his intelligence continues to shape matches. 245 goals in Liverpool red, 29 goals and 18 assists last season. Numbers that prove his importance hasn't faded. Under Arn Slot, Salah isn't just a goal scorer, he's a leader and a reliable presence in a team full of change, and now he has the perfect lieutenants to help him rule. Alexander Isak arrived at Anfield with a reputation, but the reality is even more frightening. Watch his movement against Newcastle last season, the way he dragged Virgil van Dijk out of position, the clinical finish, the Predator's instinct. That was him playing for a team fighting for Europe. Now, imagine that same hunger, that same precision, but surrounded by Liverpool's creativity. 23 goals in 34 Premier League appearances for Newcastle, numbers that caught Liverpool's eye and made them break the bank. But it's not just the goals, it's how he gets them, the perfectly timed runs, the ability to finish with either foot, the way he can drop deep to link play, then explode into the box when you least expect it. Then there's Hugo Ekitike, the French striker who's made the impossible look routine, scoring in every single Liverpool game since putting on the red shirt. Not just tap-ins, not just penalties, real goals, crucial goals, goals that announce a player ready for this stage. His goal against Newcastle, pure class. The way he received the ball and fired past the keeper. It wasn't luck, it wasn't a moment of magic. It was the cold calculation of a striker who knows exactly where the goal is, even in the 90th minute. But here's what makes this trio truly terrifying. They're not just individual talents thrown together. Under Arn Slot's system, they move like a three-headed monster. When Salah drifts wide, Isak drops deep. When Ekitike makes his run, space opens for others. They don't just score goals, they create chaos. This is what £446 million buys you. Not just players, but perfection. August 15th, 2025, Anfield, opening day, AFC Bournemouth, 4 goals, and a warning to the rest of the Premier League that this Liverpool team doesn't just win games, they put on shows. 4-2 the final score, but the story was in the details. Hugo Ekitike announced himself with a debut goal that had the cop on their feet. This wasn't just 3 points, it was a statement of intent. But if Bournemouth was the warm-up, Newcastle was the real test. St. James's Park, August 25th. The kind of atmosphere that breaks teams and breaks dreams. Liverpool were staring down the barrel, 2-2 in the 90th minute, their title defense teetering and doubters beginning to whisper. Then history was made. Rio Nugumoha, aged 16 years and 361 days, came off the bench in stoppage time and delivered a breathtaking 100th minute winner, securing his place in the record books as Liverpool's youngest ever goal scorer. Not just a goal, a moment that will echo for decades. But it was August 31st at Anfield where Liverpool truly announced themselves as title favorites. Arsenal, the runners-up, the team that finished second to Liverpool last season and spent the summer plotting their revenge. For 82 minutes, it looked like they might get it. 0-0, cagey, tense, the kind of game that great teams find a way to win. Step forward, Dominik Szoboszlai, 30 yards from goal, free kick, no angle. David Raya positioned perfectly, then a strike so pure, so perfect that it bent the laws of physics. 3 games, 3 different ways to win. Clinical against Bournemouth, resilient against Newcastle, magical against Arsenal. This isn't just a team in good form. This is a team that knows how to win any type of game in any circumstance. That's what makes champions, and that's what makes them scary. Arn Slot, the quiet Dutchman who looked at Klopp's masterpiece and said, "What if we made this smarter?" The formation tells the story. Slot's preferred 4-2-3-1 might look similar to what came before, but the execution is revolutionary. In possession, Liverpool now morphs into something closer to a 2-3-5. The fullbacks push impossibly high, almost becoming wingers. Szoboszlai and Mac Allister form a double pivot that can split defenders with incisive passing. The front 3 interchange constantly, Salah drifting inside, Ekitike dropping deep, space opening everywhere. But it's the pressing that shows Slot's genius. Where Klopp's gegenpress was a beautiful storm, Slot's press is surgical. They don't hunt in packs anymore, they set traps. The striker closes down 1 passing lane, the wingers cut off 2 more, and suddenly the opposition center back has nowhere to go except straight to a Liverpool midfielder. Watch how they win the ball back now. It's not through manic energy, it's through intelligent positioning. 6 players moving as one, each knowing exactly where their teammate will be, each closing down space with mathematical precision. The build-up play has evolved too. Van Dijk steps out of defense like a quarterback, finding passes that split entire teams. The midfield too stayed deep initially, drawing opposition forwards out of position. Then suddenly one of them, usually Florian Wirtz, bombs forward into the final third. In the final third, the patterns are mesmerizing, and now with Isak, he pins center backs with his movement, creating space for Salah to exploit. When Ekitike comes deep to link play, the fullbacks overlap. When the wingers cut inside, the midfielders flood the box. It's chaos, but controlled chaos. Defensively, they've become almost impossible to break down. The 4-2-3-1 becomes a 4-4-2 block when needed, compact and disciplined. No space between the lines, no gaps to exploit. And when they do win the ball back, the transition is instant. This isn't just tactical evolution, it's tactical perfection. A system so adaptable it can play any style, beat any opponent, win any type of game. That's what makes them truly scary. September 1st, 2025, transfer deadline day, 6:30 p.m. 30 minutes before the window slams shut. Mark Guehi is in London, medical completed, contract agreed. £35 million deal done between Liverpool and Crystal Palace. The England defender is ready to become the final piece of Arn Slot's defensive puzzle. Then Crystal Palace pull the plug. No replacement found. Oliver Glasner refusing to let his captain leave. Steve Parish making the call that breaks Liverpool hearts, but reveals something far more important about this team's mentality. They weren't satisfied. Think about that for a moment. 3 wins from 3 games. Record-breaking signings already through the door. Top of the league, playing the best football in Europe, and they still wanted more. That's the mindset of champions. That's the hunger that separates good teams from great ones. Liverpool had just spent £446 million, brought in world-class talents, and their first instinct wasn't to celebrate. It was to keep improving. The Guehi pursuit tells you everything about how Liverpool view this season. They look looked at their squad, saw Virgil van Dijk at 34, saw Ibrahima Konate with 1 year left on his contract, and said, "We need to plan for the future while dominating the present." Palace's refusal to sell wasn't just about keeping their captain, it was an admission. When a club like Crystal Palace looks at Liverpool's interest and says no amount of money is worth it, they're essentially saying, "We know what you're building and we're terrified of helping you complete it." But here's the scariest part of the whole saga: Liverpool's reaction. No panic, no desperate late moves for inferior targets, no settling for second choice. They simply shrugged, walked away, and got back to the business of terrorizing the Premier League with the weapons they already had. That's confidence. That's the mentality of a team that knows they're already good enough to win everything, but still wants to be perfect. Guehi will get his move eventually, probably in January. Definitely next summer when his contract expires. Liverpool can wait. They have time on their side because when you're already this scary, patience becomes your greatest weapon. Liverpool have won Premier League titles before. They've assembled world-class squads, broken transfer records, dominated Europe. But this team, this 2025-26 version, feels different. It's not just the talent. Though having Salah, Isak, Wirtz, and Ekitike in the same squad is genuinely unfair to the rest of the league. It's not just the depth, though being able to bring Rio Ngumoha off the bench and watch him score winners is a luxury most clubs can only dream of. It's the mentality. Championship-winning teams develop a certain swagger, a quiet confidence that comes from knowing they've been to the summit. But this Liverpool squad has something else. They have the hunger of a team that knows they're not done yet. Under Slot's tactical system, they've become unpredictable. They can press high, sit deep, play through the middle, stretch you wide, dominate possession, or hit you on the counter. Name a style of play, and this Liverpool team can execute it to perfection. This isn't just a great Liverpool team. This might be the greatest Liverpool team ever assembled. If this breakdown of Liverpool's terrifying 2025-26 squad has you convinced they're about to dominate English football for years to come, smash that like button and let me know in the comments. Which signing do you think will have the biggest impact? Isak's goals, Wirtz's creativity, or Ekitike's raw hunger? Until next time, this has been your deep dive into why the rest of the Premier League should be very, very afraid.